Hello everyone, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today, as you can see by the title, we are going to be talking about how to get faster on F1 2020. So I've been wanting to do this video for a while, and my last video talking about setups did really well. There was a lot of good feedback, so thank you guys for that. But yeah, I wanted to make this video and talk about 5 main things that I used to get better. I would say I'm a pretty decent driver at this game now, close to esports level, or at esports level, depends on your opinion. But yeah, these are the things that helped me become quick, go from that good level to a top level. And I'm sure if you implement these things, then you could be much quicker too. Some of them are obvious, some of them are more beginner things, but if you're more of an advanced player, I would still recommend watching, because there might be something that you're not doing. But anyway, let's just get straight into it. So the first thing, and please do not click off the video when I say this, because most people probably get told this, but I'm going to say it anyway, and it's the first thing because it is the most important, and that is practice. And not just general practice, that helps obviously, but practicing efficiently. So you want to practice the areas that you're weak. So some people are going to be like, well, I practice like 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week. And yeah, that's good, but if you want to become really good, you want to become super, I know not everyone wants to be, esports level, but if you just want to improve, you just need to put that practice in. I have the privilege of being friends with some F1 esports drivers, so I can show you some game times from F1 esports drivers if you haven't seen them before. So if you see now, Jarno, F1 esports champion, has 788 hours on the game, and considering that's from the period of June, July when the game came out, to probably January or December when he finished esports, so that's a lot of hours. And I'm also going to show second place man, Freddie Rasmussen. 688 hours from this period, and bear in mind he even plays less than Jarno outside of F1 esports. So Freddie pretty much just plays for esports, and then once he's done, that's it. So yeah, 688 hours within that few months period. That's crazy. And I'm going to show one more person, which is Barry Burman, who you might have seen from my PSGL videos or just in general, because he's an alien. And if you look, he has 1,000 hours on the game. And I also know that Marcel, Freddie Rasmussen's teammate at Rebel, also has 1,000 hours plus. So obviously, these are F1 esports drivers. They do it for a living. So you may be thinking, well, yeah, that's all cool and all, but obviously we're not going to play as much as them. But I'm just trying to show you that these guys aren't just 100% talent and gifted and don't have to put any time into the game. They still have to put a load of time into the game just to make sure that they're at that top level. So yeah, that's why I put practice first. It is obviously the most important. You can watch as many tips videos as you want, but if you don't put into practice, then you're never going to improve. So what's the best thing to practice then, you may be asking? Well, personally, I would say time trial. This is because you can do as many laps as you want. You can restart whenever you want. It's always the same track conditions, so you just have one place to just practice and not worry about anything else. You can go onto the leaderboards and use the top guys' setups. So yeah, and you just want to just do lap after lap, and then you will start noticing them improvements. And that does take me on to my next tip, which would be to watch faster drivers and watch yourself. So there's a very popular and successful practice method used in other esports, and this is called VOD reviewing, which is pretty much where you just watch back a video of yourself or a team that did well or win anything, and you literally just look out for mistakes and what you could have done better and what you did do better. And you could do this for F1 as well. You could watch drivers like Marcel, Jarno, who are happen to be streaming nowadays, and you can just watch their laps and see what kind of lines they're taking, you know, when they accelerate and brake and stuff like that. And then you can apply it to yourself. You could watch yourself back and see if you're doing those same things. And this is a good thing, not just for beginner players, but more advanced players that want to get to the top level, because when you're quite good at the game, you might not see as much mistakes. They are there, but you might not see them because they're not obviously so big. They're just small mistakes. So watching these guys who do things almost perfectly, you'll see them smaller mistakes or things that you're not doing, the little things, but they are doing. So the next thing is turning off your assists. Now, I know this one's a little bit tricky. People use assists just to help them not suck, obviously, just to help them get round. But if you really want to be good, you would turn them off and learn them. This is what I did back on F1 2015, and at first it was terrible. I didn't want to do it. I was terrible, but I wanted to improve more. So yeah, I just turned them all off at once. You don't have to. I would recommend it, just turning them all off, being absolutely terrible for maybe a day, maybe longer, depending on how much you practice. But then you'll eventually get used to them. But you don't have to. You can turn them off gradually. But yeah, they are definitely slower. They do make you slower. If you want to be your max potential, they just have to be all off. And once again, I would just say doing laps in time trial with them all off is a good place to start. And then when you get fairly comfortable, you can maybe go on online lobbies, or maybe try and practice with a friend so you don't just get absolutely blown up in open lobbies. But just so you can practice in an actual race setting with other drivers on the track, you know, because you may be able to control the throttle in a time trial chilling, but once you get in a real lobby and you're trying to go side by side or get a better exit than another driver and then you just spin, then yeah, it's a bit different. So yeah, definitely turn them off. If you're a casual player and you just feel like, nah, I'm just keep them on, then that's fine. You can still listen to the other tips in the video; they might help. But if you really want to be a good fast driver, then you'll be willing to put the practice in and turn the assists off. So yeah, on to the next tip then. That is exploits. Now, when I say exploits, I mean taking advantage of stuff like the weird-ish handling model, the track limits, you know, stuff like braking on curbs, which you can do on this game because the curbs are quite flat, short shifting, you know, stuff like that. You need to play this game well as a game, like an arcade game. It's not really a sim. If you're from a sim racing background, then this game might not make much sense to you. Because it's quite a bit different. But yeah, if you look on the screen now, like stuff like going all the way to the left-hand curb and braking and, you know, stuff like this, you really need to take advantage of that. Each game has something different. And corner cutting is a big one. So if you look into turn 1 at Austria, for example, you really need to cut this inside curb to get a good exit. We did it pretty fairly well there, and we're still a 10th down, so you can see just how much we had to cut it on our previous best. You may not like this, but this is just stuff you have to do to be at the top level. Everyone does it, and if you don't do it, then you're going to lose out. Another good example of this is Vietnam at the start of the second sector, as I'll show. You really do just have to push it, because that's what the game allows, so just watch this. I mean, you're probably wondering, like, how can you do that? Well, the game just allows it, to be honest, and you just need to take advantage. Because if you don't, then you could lose. I don't even know how many tenths you're gonna lose. But yeah, hopefully you understand what I mean by exploiting the game. So yeah, now moving on to the final tip, and that is setups. Now, setups once again is a tricky one because you have to put a lot of time in to understand them. Personally, what I would recommend doing is understand what each part of the setup does, and then take a top time trial setup and adjust. Because the top time trial setups, although quite unstable towards the rear, they are fast. So I would recommend taking one and adjusting to suit your own driving style, and that's where understanding the setups come into it. Obviously, you can take the setup, but if you don't know what to adjust or how to make it suit your driving style, then yeah. So the two things I would recommend doing to learn and understand the setups. The first one would be to watch maybe a YouTube video. I'm sure there's many out there on explaining each part of the setup. And the second thing would be maybe just to run the default setup but change maybe one setting each time and see how it affects the car. And this can take quite long, where it's all about trial and error. So yeah, once you learn the setups and understand them, it can gain you a lot of time if you find something that's fast and suitable to you. And remember, with the setups, most esports drivers use quite loose, oversteery setups, just because they have good car control and they can control it, and it gives them the turn-in that they need, good cornering speed. But you definitely don't want to overdo it, because, well, something like this could happen. Yeah, so don't try and be too confident just because the esports drivers can handle some oversteery setups. Make something which is comfortable for you, which you can push with. But on the opposite end, please do not be too conservative on the setups. They're a lot slower, and well, stuff like this could happen. So you want to find something balanced, which is going to give you good turn-in, so you don't lose time, but then you're also not going to spin, or you're not going to be worried about spinning every other lap. So yeah, learning the setup, as I said, will help you just be more comfortable when driving. And yeah, that's it. Quite a short. I wanted to keep it pretty short. I didn't want to ramble on. So just a quick recap over the things I said. The first one was the practicing one. I think that's obviously the most important. We have exploiting the game, stuff like track limits and the handling model, turning off assists, learning the setups, and watching faster drivers and watching yourself back. So yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. I hope you all did enjoy watching. Hope you learned something. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning how to do this stuff. So yeah, leave any feedback you want, positive or negative. I read all comments. And yeah, thank you for watching. Again, I'll see you in the next one.